So apparently the ESRB, which is basically the rating board for video games, I think primarily in North America. I think the UK has their own sort of things like PEGI or whatever it's called. Anyways, the ESRB, they're proposing a new concept to allow for better parental control over kids playing video games, which involves facial age estimation, which is kind of creepy, to be honest. Let's talk about this because there's a lot to this whole story. And at first I kind of just passed over it, and then I came back to it and I circled back and a little bit more information came out and whatnot. But apparently it's not even just the ESRB that's getting involved. Apparently Epic Games owned Super Awesome and company Yoti have all joined forces in asking the FTC to approve the tech as well. So there's a bunch of people coming to the FTC asking to approve this tech. Now, interestingly enough, in China, Tencent launched a similar program that also requires children to use a sort of facial recognition to basically get more time to play games. Yeah, you kind of see the slippery slope that this can kind of turn into, right? It can turn into a very kind of snowballed effect and lead to, what seems at first, just, oh, this is great. This is, better facial recognition. I mean, to me, it's like, I get the sell that they're putting on this. But at the same time, it almost feels like the ESRB is trying to be the parents. Let the parents be the parents. And that's a concept that seems to be past everybody these days. It's like, it's crazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about what the ESRB's response was, because they did respond to these original reports, because people were saying like, oh, they're using facial recognition on children and this and that. And I mean, in a sense, they basically said, no, we're not. Yes, we are. I know that sounds really weird. Let me explain. There's quite a large statement that they gave. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll throw the whole thing up on screen, but I'm going to highlight specifically a couple different parts. So they did apparently say that they're not you. So they're kind of using different language, right? They're saying that the application is not to authorize the use of this technology with children. Full stop. Okay, so they're saying that this is not necessarily for children. It's for the parents, but at the same time, it's weird, man. Okay, so let's just go through this. They basically say that the application makes no mention of using age estimation to prevent children from purchasing or downloading restrictively related video games, nor do we intend to recommend that it's used this way, right? You skip ahead a little bit, they talk about the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, different things like that. You skip a little bit more ahead, so that's first, second, third. We're going to the fourth paragraph. There's 5 paragraphs in here. And they're saying that it's not, they're calling it live facial scans, not facial recognition. And I guess their whole point of the difference in this is that facial recognition means that they have a scanned face that is stored, and they're apparently not storing. If you look at the 5th paragraph, at the very first sentence, they say any images and data used for this process are never stored or used for AI training or marketing or shared with anyone or anything like that. So that's why they're differentiating the live facial scans from the facial recognition. But they say it involves confirming if the person who is verifying consent is 25 years or older. So they're saying that basically it's for verifying if they're 25 years or older. So it's not for children, but at the same time, if they're not 25 years or older, let's say they're under 18 and they're using it, then it is still being used on children, right? If a child tries to access it, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. They say when a child attempts to sign up for a new service, website, application, video game, etc. By U.S. law, they will be prompted to provide a parent's or caregiver's email address or other contact information. The parent is then usually sent an email asking to confirm, etc., etc. You guys probably heard of this before. And the parent will be asked for their consent, prompted to use their front-facing camera to scan their face. This is where the technology kicks in, which must be live and in person. The Yoti's technology encrypts the information gathered from the scan, then breaks down portions of the scan to accurately estimate the parent's age. Our application to the FTC recommends the age threshold to be set at 25 to prevent teenagers or other older-looking children from preventing to be a parent. Now, what if there's a parent out there that looks younger? I'm just saying, you know, some people do look younger. I mean, you got people that are like in their 40s, and like you would really think like they look like they're in their 20s, for example, or whatever. You know, it could be whatever else. You know, there are people that probably are over 25, and they might actually look like they're younger, and they're probably saying, "Oh, the technology's built to," you know, say technology's not perfect. Man alone is not perfect. You're having fallible man creating fallible technology and expecting it to work as you suggest and as you hope. I don't know, man. To me, like when it comes to stuff like this, like it's one thing if you have an optional thing, right? Like with phones, right? You can, it's like, okay, do you want to turn facial recognition on? It's an option. It's a feature. If you want it, if you don't care, then, you know, have at it. And then, you know, if you could still use your passcode and things like that. But once it becomes something that's like, it's almost like forced upon you, that's when I kind of get a little bit of an issue with it personally, where I'm like, okay, now you're kind of forcing facial recognition in this situation. And it's like, listen, man, I get what they're trying to do, but I mean, to kind of make this like a standard, I don't think is the right choice. Now, again, if this was like sort of like an optional thing, parents can opt in or out. But if this is a sort of a thing where it's like, oh, well, if you're trying to buy a game that's, you know, rated mature, for example, which gets very problematic when you get games like Halo, because games like Halo were rated mature, and they're kind of like in the Star Wars realm of you know, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Not severity, whatever, severity. Let's just use that. Halo is pretty tame compared to other mature games, right? I think there was maybe a couple, I can't remember, man. There might have been a couple cuss words in it, and maybe that's why it's a little bit higher, and it's like, you know. But like, for example, you compare Call of Duty, which is rated mature, to Halo, which is rated mature, it makes no sense to me. In that case, it's like, Call of Duty is more mature than Halo, and in that case, I would say Halo should be rated teen, and Call of Duty obviously mature. That makes more sense. But I don't know. So you get kind of all these issues, right? And to be forced to be like, oh, you have to use a facial recognition to make sure that you're over 25. It's like, what are you doing? You know? What do you like? I don't know, man. Look, man, I like tech. I like the advances tech has brought. But again, my gripe with this is that it seems to be kind of like being pushed on well, I mean, if they go through with this, obviously what they're proposing would seem like it's being kind of more pushed on. Now, again, if this is an optional thing, parents can opt in or out. Sure, why not? You know, you can set those parental controls, and that's kind of the idea, right? They did use that language about parental controls, but then at the same time, the language also seems like it's being pushed. So I'm not really sure what their angle is with this. So I don't know. To me, it's a little bit iffy. I'll say that much. Okay, it's a little bit iffy. Will it go through? Will the FTC approve it? I mean, the FTC is all kinds of weird anyways. As we've seen with the whole Microsoft Activision situation, the FTC has issues of their own. Clearly, they're not you know, very reliable. And even the ESRB, you know, they've been pretty good as a sort of guideline, but that's all they should be. They should just be a guideline. That's it. That's all they should ever be. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm kind of ranting and rambling about this, but it's an interesting topic. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. As per usual, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to stick around for more, subscribe, like, whatever. If you didn't like it, let me know why so I can improve the content in the future. And be sure to check out the Kick channel. We've been streaming a lot over there. Again, a lot of stuff will be multi-streamed, our live Let's Plays, you know, some of our multiplayer stuff. But sometimes I've been streaming a lot on Kick, just exclusively to music streams, just kind of hanging out, doing different kind of, you know, a random jumble of games. You know, maybe we'll play a little bit of Apex and we'll move over to Fortnite and things like that. And some of those I just do on Kick or last minute streams. But you'll still see streams on YouTube. But if you want to see them all, then you should check that as well. Anyways, enough of that. I'm done. All right, I'm out. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you soon. And until the next one, game on. Catch you guys later. Hey you! What are you doing? Join the Skeleton Army! Do it today! Don't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow might never come. The Earth is gonna fade, that's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the Skeleton Army. Plus, we do kinda like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, your loss. See you later.